So if you're like, oh my gosh, it's going to be massive, slow down. It's going to be great, but it's not going to be like, oh, the Super Bowl of Easter's. Like, that's just not us, all right? We're going to experience the Holy Spirit just like what we did a few minutes ago, and that people are going to be saved. So we can't wait for that Sunday. Again, did you know this, that 70% of people that you would invite to church, like on Easter Sunday, will actually show up versus if you just invite them throughout the normal time of the year? That's why we make it easy giving you cards. We're actually going to send you guys a text later today of something you can just text your friends, inviting them. I gave my barber yesterday a card inviting him, because even as the pastors, we don't just tell you guys to like, hey, invite people. Oh, thanks, Omar. Omar just got you water, Chrissy. We do it too. So also, I'm ADD. I'm Pastor Joe, by the way. A lot of things in a row. So anybody here a Michael Jordan fan? Okay, we have a lot of sinners in the room. Do you guys know who Michael Jordan is? I guess we're in California. Everybody's like, Kobe, I get it, right? Like LeBron, any LeBron fans? Okay, a couple. I was talking to my barber yesterday. I'm like, it's weird. Laker fans are weird. Some Laker fans stopped being Laker fans because LeBron came to the Lakers. Like, that's weird. Like, I don't care who, like Aaron Rodgers could go to the Bears and I'm still a Bears fan. Some of you are like, I do not understand what is happening here. Aaron Rodgers played for the Green Bay Packers. The Bears, we hate the Green Bay Packers. That's what I'm trying to say, okay? I know, I lost a lot of you. Let me bring it back in. Let's just talk about Michael Jordan. He is the greatest basketball player of all time. We can have the discussion. Nobody else comes close. Now, I saw this commercial the other day and I couldn't find it. I actually told Eric to find it and he didn't do it. So now I just have to explain the commercial to you. Do you remember that? I told you to find it, didn't I? Did you find it? You know, he doesn't have Twitter anymore. What an excuse. YouTube. So it was one of his old coaches. I think it was for when he first went to college. And Michael told his college coach, I'm gonna be the best. I'm gonna work just as hard. So he said this, I'm gonna be the best. I'm gonna work just as hard as the other guys on the team. I'm gonna put in the effort. And the coach said, listen, if you wanna be the best, you gotta put in more work than the other guys on the team. And Michael took that to heart. And this coach said every year he got better. But here's the thing, he's like, he didn't just get like 1% better. He's like, he year after year would get 10 times better than the player I had the year before. Then I just heard this story the other day talking about when Michael Jordan, I don't know if you guys know this, but oftentimes the Bulls would go up against the Detroit Pistons to win the finals, okay? And they would lose, and they would lose, and they would lose. And so finally, 1 year after they lost, MJ, he said, instead of me taking my normal summer vacation, everyone's going on vacation, everybody's taking rest, he actually put in more work, more time in the gym, more time practicing, not time on leisure activities. He went all in. He gave up his summer to go all in for what he wanted most. And that next following year, they won the NBA Finals. The reason I bring up Michael Jordan is because my question to you is, what are you aspiring to that you haven't been giving something up to get to? Because to go up, you have to give up. You have to give up something. And today, as we've been going through the Sermon on the Mount for like 16 weeks now, we're talking about what Jesus teaches us has to do with prayer and fasting. Jesus teaches us about fasting. As a matter of fact, he actually says, when you fast, you're gonna get a reward for fasting if you don't air it out to everybody else. Here's the reason I'm bringing up fasting, okay? Some of you don't understand the importance of fasting. Fasting is gonna help you have breakthrough in your business. Fasting will have you have breakthrough in your spiritual life. Fasting, me and Chrissy, we wrote a book, it hasn't published yet, but it was coming out. We have a whole section on it of fasting for your spouse. Married couples, stop complaining and start fasting. When's the last time you actually fasted for your spouse? And you can fast food, but like for Eric, food don't matter to him. He's like, what's hard for me is giving up social media. For me, it's food because I'm eating all the time. This is not a lie. We are sitting at the dinner table last night, and my 10-year-old girl, who's a spitting image of my wife, looks just like her, but is very similar to me when it comes to food, she's already thinking about breakfast the next morning. She was thinking about what she was going to eat this morning. I'm like, girl, we are so similar when it comes to food. That's just, so fasting for me is so hard. But I'm telling you what, look, this is what it says in Matthew chapter 6, verse 18. And when you fast, stop. Jesus says when you fast. He does not say if. As Christians, if you're not a Christian here, you don't have to fast, but I'm going to give you some tips on why fasting matters to you, even if you're not a Christian. But he says, when you fast, can I just tell you, this is probably the biggest spiritual principle that Christians do not practice. Like we all get it, we're like, oh yeah, I should probably wake up and read my Bible and pray and worship and go to church and serve, like, right? Like, it's like that, but like fasting is like way at the bottom. We're not even thinking about it. We're like, oh, don't we just do that like twice a year at church? No, it's something that we should actually have as a spiritual discipline in our life. He says, don't make it obvious, as the hypocrites do, for they try to look miserable and disheveled, so people will admire them for their fasting. Has any parents in here ever have your kid, like, they haven't eaten in 4 hours, like, I'm starving, but what are we gonna have? Right? You know, it's just, and they make the face. I'm like, you are a little Pharisee. That's what you are. You're not starving. You just ate a couple hours ago. You know, anyways, I tell you the truth. That is the only reward they will ever get. Our King Jesus promised us right here, there's rewards. Now, here's the thing. Are you trying, when you fast, you got to make sure, am I trying to get noticed by people or am I trying to gain the attention of God? Because if you're trying to get noticed by people, he's saying right here, hey, that's your reward. Enjoy. Because what's that going to do? If one of you are like, oh, wow, Pastor Joe fasts every Wednesday. What a holy man of God. Yes, I am. What does that do? Nothing. It does nothing. It's like, I don't want people to know. It's like, now here's the thing. There's a difference because sometimes we'd be like, oh, I can't let anybody know. But also we're called to disciple people. So we do have to train people on this. So Chrissy and I, we fast every Wednesday. So if you're like, hey, I want to start fasting, what does that look like? You could start with one meal. You can start with 2 meals. You could do a Jewish fast is sun up to sundown. Just fast when the sun's up, right? Then when it's dark out, eat. It could be social media like Eric was saying. There's so many different fasts. You could do a Daniel fast where you only eat specific foods. Okay, so he says this in verse 16. Moreover, when you fast, do not be like the hypocrites with a sad countenance, for they just, I just already read that, guys. You got to tell me that. Okay, verse 17. But you, when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face. Do your hair. Clean your face. That's what he's saying. That, remember Oxy scrub? Is that stuff still around? Remember that when we were teenagers? No? You don't know what that is? I don't either. Maybe I'm saying the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? Anybody, Oxy, not, you know what I'm saying? Like Oxy something, I don't know, not OxyClean. Don't wash your face with that. It'll definitely be breaking out. The pastor told me to use it. No, I didn't. So that you do not appear to men to be fasting, but to your Father who's in the secret place. See, here's the thing. If you're fasting without praying, you're just on a diet. The thing is as I'm giving up social media, as I'm giving up food, that time I'd be eating, now I need to be praying. And can I tell you guys something? Sometimes we overcomplicate prayer. Let me tell you this. You want to start growing in prayer life, you set a 5-minute timer and you just start walking around something, a park, your house, the neighborhood, whatever, and you just start talking to God. That's what I do every Sunday morning here for you guys. I don't necessarily have an agenda. I just start walking around and praying, and stuff just comes up. And all of a sudden, like my mom said it today, she's like, oh my gosh, where'd that hour go? I'm telling you, because some of you are like, I want to pray an hour and be like that, but you can't do it for 5 minutes because you're not practicing, right? Michael Jordan put on time in the court to be the greatest of all time. To be the greatest, you have to give up something. Okay, I'm going to give up 5 minutes and pray. And you can do that. Me and Christy, we were doing that last week, and I was thinking this morning, it's like, man, we need to start doing that every Saturday of walking around our park and praying for Sunday. But we just took a few minutes, went down there. It could have been 15, 20 minutes and just prayed for you guys. But here's the thing. There's a secret place and it matters. The secret place matters because he is there. It says, and your Father who sees you in the secret will reward you openly. Today, I'm actually going to show you some spots where you can be rewarded from some stories in the Bible. But before we get to that, I want to show you the physical benefits of fasting. I got one of these slides. Put up that one slide for me, Alec, and boom, there it is. Okay, timeline of fasting. Check this out. I think it's amazing that God has been telling us to fast for years, right? And now science is showing what it does to you physically and how it actually matters. So the first 4 to 8 hours, your blood sugar drops. 12 hours, your HGH increases. That is your human growth hormone, okay? So guys, if you want to get jacked, stop eating. That's what that is, okay? 16 hours, fat burning begins. Hallelujah, right? Somebody, everyone's like, oh my gosh, I'm taking notes now. All right, 18 to 20 hours, autophagy begins. That's when your body begins to eat up your fat, okay? Get rid of it. 36 hours, autophagy increases 300%. 48 hours, HGH increases 500%. 54 hours, your insulin sensitivity increases, 72-hour autophagy peaks. Not only is not on this slide, but I had some other stuff. At 36 to 72 hours, stem cells begin to regenerate and your body rejuvenates. Your body literally is taking care of itself and cleaning itself when you fast. Now, let me give you a heads up. This isn't social media fasting. This is you not eating food, okay? Now, you can do deeper research into this because my wife and I, we live off of coffee like a lot of you do. And so I had to look up, when I drink coffee, do I break my fast? The answer is no, unless you put some crap in it, okay? You can't put creamer in it and sugar. If you do that, fast is gone, all right? So just to help you out with that, we'll skip those other slides, Alec. So there's a story in the Bible, and a lot of you probably know, and I'm going to try to go through this quick because I'm not trying to keep you here all day, but I wrote this down. I want to tell you guys this real quick. If fasting brings healing to your body, imagine what it does to the soul. We see what it does to our physical body. What's it going to do for our soul? There's a story in the Bible. So that's the why we should fast. Now I want to share with you a story from the Bible of what happens when you do fast. Some of you know this book. It's the book of Esther. And Esther is an amazing story. I think it's 6 chapters. You could finish it probably in 30 minutes. It's not long, okay? Now, I'm gonna give you a brief overview. You can go and read it, do all the stuff. But Esther, okay, let's start off here. There's a king, okay? King Xerxes. King Xerxes in Persia, okay? This is not Jerusalem. These are not Jews. This is not there. These are psychos. Persians are crazy. Has anybody seen the movie 300? Okay, those are the Persians, okay? Those psychos, not what's his name? I want to say Maximus. Leonidas, thank you. There's always an is at the end, right? Maximus, Leonidas, Joas. Oh, what a bad dad joke. Okay, so the guys that Leonidas fought, okay, the Persians. So he literally has a party for a year or 3 years. I don't remember what it was. Was it 1 year? Anyway, he has a crazy long party. Then to end the party, he throws another week or 2 party. And at that time, he wants to bring his wife in, Queen Vashti, with a crown on her head. And literally he was like, what theologians will say, the reason she didn't show up is because he wanted her to just show up with her crown on and parade her in front of all these people. And so she's like, I'm not showing up. He's like, okay, got news for you. You're banished. Give me a new wife. And so all of a sudden they do The Bachelor in Persia, except here's the thing. It's not The Bachelor like we know The Bachelor. The Bachelor like we know The Bachelor, these women are signing up like, oh, I want to find the love of my life. They want that, which never works out, but it's entertaining. So they sign up and they're trying to find, the man of their life. Oh, sorry. They don't sign up. They do not sign up for this. This actually, when you look at the history, this is a form of human trafficking. Because what this king did, that's what I'm saying, the Persians are crazy. What they did is they said, go throughout all the provinces of Persia, everybody that we've already enslaved, including the Jewish people, we want you to find the prettiest girls and bring them. And then again, it was like 3 months, 3 years, it was something crazy, maybe a year. That's what I'm saying, go back and read all this. Literally, we are going to take them through spa treatments to get them to look the best for the king. They are taken from their families. They are taken from where they live. They're taken to this place to now be paraded in front of the king, and that was Esther. Esther was one of these girls. Esther, she grew up an orphan. Her parents died. Her uncle Mordecai adopted her. So she really did, she was adopted, but she didn't have anybody. She was a Jewish girl. Mordecai was a Jew. They were brought into Persia, a time when Jerusalem was overthrown and they were taken into captivity. So she is brought before the king, and he says, that's the one. It's Esther. That's who I choose, okay? So here's the thing, though. As I'm sharing this is not a rom-com. This is not a love story. This is kidnapping. This is human trafficking, but God. Understanding God has a place even in our darkest spots of life. He can show up. And so when you look at Mordecai, that is her uncle, at one point in the book of Esther, two guys are trying to assassinate the king, King Xerxes. Mordecai somehow overhears it, takes it to the right officials, they fix it. We're going to bring that up later in the story, but I just wanted to tell you that. Like, he saves the king's life. Okay, let's go to Esther chapter 3, verse 6 through 9. There is a man named Haman. Haman is second in command to King Xerxes. Haman is evil and wicked, just like all the Persians. Because he's in second command, everybody he walks in front of needs to bow to him. Mordecai, Esther's uncle, does not bow to him. So this is what Haman says. He learned of Mordecai's nationality, so he decided it was not enough to just lay hands on Mordecai. Instead, he looked for a way to destroy all the Jews because of one thing that Mordecai did, not bowing his knee to Haman. Haman decided, I am going to get rid of all of the Jewish people. Verse 8, Haman approached King Xerxes and said, there's a certain race of people who refuse to obey the laws of the king. Can I just tell you, the enemy is a liar. The devil's a liar. What he just said isn't even the truth to God, the truth to the king. He said, there's a certain race of people. No, there's one person that didn't want to bow in front of Haman. But he's saying there's a race of people and they refuse to obey the laws of the king. Matter of fact, the laws weren't even brought up of what actually was broken and not broken. And verse 9, he says, if it pleases the king, we can issue a decree to have them all destroyed, and I will give 10,000 large sacks of silver. This is what he is saying to him. Guys, do you know where that money was coming from? It was actually coming from when they would kill the Jews, they would take their money, and that's how they were going to pay the king. Now, scholars really believe that King Xerxes was so separated from this situation, he didn't even ask the questions of who are the people, because the way that it's phrased is that there's just a group of people, not knowing this is a whole nation of people. Because if it's a nation of people and Xerxes knew exactly what the Jews were actually doing for Persia, he would have never signed up for this. That's why I'm saying, can I just tell you, the way that the enemy, the devil, that he works, he is always going to give you a partial truth. He's the father of lies. He's going to deceive you. He's going to get you to think one thing, to come against a spouse, to come against a kid, to come against a parent, to come against a boss, to come against pastors, to come against your small group leaders, whatever it is. Understanding he is so good at twisting the truth. So in Esther chapter 4, let me go there. So Esther chapter 4, verse 1 through 4. When Mordecai had learned all that had happened, also I don't have this slide in case you're looking for it, Alec. When Mordecai had learned all that had happened, he tore his clothes and put on sackcloth and ashes and went out into the midst of the city. He cried out with a loud and bitter cry. I'm going to jump down. In verse 3, in every province where the king's command and decree arrived, there was great mourning among the Jews with fasting, weeping, and wailing. Mordecai and all the Jews began to fast because they needed to see God move. The way that the Persians worked was that if Mordecai would have even just went to Haman and said, hey, I'm going to bow to you, the way that it happens is once it's sealed by the king, it's a decree, it's going to happen. These Jews were going to be annihilated. They needed to see a move of God. And so then we see in verse 4, it says, Esther's maids came and told her what was going on, and she sent garments to clothe Mordecai and to take the sackcloth away from him, but he would not accept them. Can I tell you guys this? There are going to be times in your life when it always looks better to cover something up than to deal with the actual issue. Esther's the queen now, and she's saying, oh, my uncle's in trouble. Let me just cover up what's ever going on instead of actually getting to the root issue. What's actually happening in his life? And so he sends back, and he goes on, and he says, hey, this is what's happening. All the Jews are going to be killed. We are at this place right now where we are going to be slaughtered, and we need to see a move from God. Now, look what it says. It says in verse 13, if you keep quiet, this is Mordecai talking to Esther, if you keep quiet at a time like this, deliverance and relief for the Jews will arise from some other place. From some other place. This is what I want you to know. He knew his adopted daughter, was the queen, but he did not go to the queen. He went to prayer and fasting. It was in prayer and fasting that it got the attention of the queen's maids that then had her look upon her adopted father to say, what's going on? Now, here's the thing, though. He's saying, I need you to do this, right? You have an in with the king. But this is how crazy the king was. It says in the Bible that if he did not extend his golden scepter to anybody to approach, could have been the queen, could have been a servant, whoever, they could be killed. And she said, I have not seen the king in 30 days. And all of us men are like, what? Like, how do you not spend time with your wife in 30 days? Like I said before, this is not a romantic story. Every other girl that was taken from their providence, they were now kept at a separate building for the king's pleasure. The queen's role was literally to just wear a crown and to be queen. Other than that, he didn't even need her. That's how crazy the Persians are and how disgusting they are. So he says this. He says, who knows if perhaps you were made queen for such a time as this? Because she says, if I go to him, I could be killed. He says, maybe the reason you're queen is because of this. Can I just ask you, maybe the reason you're at your job is because they need the light of the world, Jesus, there. Maybe the reason you're at your school is because they need Jesus. Maybe the reason that you're in your family is because they need Jesus. We cannot think like Queen Esther thinking, well, someone else will deal with it. It's up to us. It's up to us to say, no, nobody has a relationship with my sibling like I do. Nobody else has the relationship with my boss, my barber, the guy at my gym. Nobody else has that relationship but me. Is it possible that you were created for such a time as this? And what will you do with it? I would encourage you to pray and fast. Because Queen Esther then says, go together, gather all the Jews of Susa, and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days. Then, though it's against the law, I will go to see the king. And if I die, I die. She went before the king. If I die, I die. When you invite your friend to Easter at Vivid, I don't think they're going to kill you. They don't have a golden scepter that says, you can't approach me. Not today. But were you put in their life for such a time as this? And when you fast, are you praying for them? She says, pray for me. Pray for me that I would have the right words. You can pray, you can fast, pray for yourself, and also say, God, give me the right words to talk to them. How do I connect with them? How do I bring you up in the conversation? Give me a boldness. And here's the thing. I'm talking about beyond Easter too. Lord, I'm gonna fast because I need to see breakthrough in my business, breakthrough in my family, breakthrough in my spiritual life, wherever it is. But are you willing to give up to go up? Are you willing to give up your favorite meal? Are you willing to give up your favorite social media? Are you willing to give up your favorite coffee? Are you willing to give up to go up? I'm just gonna go through some of the miracles real quick as we wrap up. But as they pray and fast, all of a sudden, the king can't sleep one night. Could it be that God kept him awake? Because he asks for somebody to come and read him stories. So instead of just turning on TV like we do, he says, hey, I need somebody to come and read to me a bedtime story. They come and read, and they read him the story of what Mordecai had done for him to save his life. And he says, did we ever reward him? They said, no. So then he calls in Haman, says, Haman, what would you do for somebody you want to honor? Now remember, Haman's the bad guy. He's a psycho. He's like, oh, the king must be talking about me. King, what I would do is I would pull out your royal horse and the most beautiful robes and all the gold and I would make it a parade, a spectacle that everybody would have to bow to him. The king says, Haman, that's a great idea. Do that for the Mordecai, or the Jew Mordecai. And Haman's like, what? That's a miracle. That right there is a miracle. Going from his point is, I want to kill this man. Now the king is honoring him. Then we see Esther come before the king, thinking, I'm about to approach him, and this could be the last breath that I take. I'm going to go before the king. What's going to happen to me? And as the king sees her, he extends the scepter, and she comes to him. And he says, what is it that you want? I'll give you up to half of the kingdom. I want you to think about this. She was trying to cover up what was going on with Mordecai with clothes. Now the same thing is being offered to her. Hey, you don't have to deal with the issue. I can give you half the kingdom. Half the kingdom, or I need to speak up for the Jews. Half the kingdom, like no other queen has ever held power, or speak up for enslaved people. She says, can we get dinner with Haman? He's like, okay. They get dinner. They actually do it twice. On the second one, the king says again, what do you need? I'll give you up to half the kingdom. And she says, the evil and wicked Haman is trying to kill my people. Something else that I think is amazing in this story is Haman was building, it's called the gallows, and it's not something that you would hang somebody on like with a noose. It actually is a huge like pole that's sharp at the top where you would impale somebody and they would hang there. He actually made that for Mordecai. That's what he was planning to do. The king then had Haman killed and hung on that very thing. When you look at this story, and the miracles that happen and take place through fasting and prayer, it actually makes me question why I don't personally do it more. Why don't I pray more, fast more, surrender to God more? Because he continues to make a way in people's lives, in our lives. The reason that obviously we went through this is because it's the Sermon on the Mount series, and Jesus teaches us when you fast. And I want to encourage you, church. You saw what it does for you physically. Imagine what it's going to do for your spiritual life and for those around you. Hey, thanks for watching today. Listen, if you want to continue to grow with Jesus, I want you to click this video right here because it's going to take you deeper.